So take a look at this. 3 weeks after my ADHD diagnosis, my partner filed for divorce. I can't believe she's leaving me because I have ADHD. So I got this message from a new client who gave me permission to share this. I actually get quite a lot of these messages. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why your marriage isn't breaking up because of your ADHD. And later on, I'm going to dig into what you can actually do to start turning things around. And if you're new here, my name is Chris. I'm a creator with ADHD, and I help fellow active brains learn the tools to finally focus, grow, and get shit done. So ADHD has an impact on relationships. There's no doubt about that. So it's reasonable when there's challenges in the relationship for you to think that ADHD is the cause. ADHD can impact our emotions, our focus, our communication, our prioritization of duties, chores, romance. And when things get tough, like separation or divorce, you can look back at the timeline and convince yourself that this is what's happened. You get your ADHD diagnosis and the challenges now have an explanation for them. The reality of what actually happens is usually quite different. Your partner comes to you with their feelings, trying to talk about the problems. And then because you have a recent ADHD diagnosis, you then start to explain about ADHD, how it works, why you forgot to do this thing, why you didn't do this thing, why you don't remember things. And what this tells your partner is that you're actually not interested in their feelings or getting to a solution, because your focus is more talking about the ADHD. And because there's no space to talk about these problems, your partner then feels hopeless. So let's break this down a little bit. First of all, the problems are not ADHD based. The problems are human being based. The problem is how you've responded to the challenges with ADHD. Think of it this way. Let's say you owned a car, and as you drive it, it keeps running out of gas, leaving you and your passenger stranded. So then you take it into the shop, and the mechanic says that one of the traits of this car is that it does 10 miles per gallon. It's just the way it's built. Then you keep running the car in the exact same way. You don't change the way you drive or how often you fill up, so it keeps running out of gas, leaving you both stranded. And every time the passenger says, "What the fuck, we ran out of gas again?" and you say, "Oh yeah, it's because the car only does 10 miles per gallon." Do you see why focusing on characteristics of the car is not helping the situation? So justifying yourself and explaining yourself is actually causing more and more damage to the relationship. So what can we actually do about this? So before we jump in, I just want to say that there's only so much that I can cover in YouTube videos. So I have put together a complete collection of ADHD tools, strategies, and coaching into a single program called the ADHD Blueprint. ADHD can be frustrating. We can feel lost and like we're not living up to our potential. And the ADHD Blueprint covers everything from focus to organization to emotions, ADHD relationships, and communication. And by joining the program, you'll also be part of our growing community of fellow ambitious ADHDers. So don't just survive with ADHD. Start to live up to your potential and craft the thriving life that you deserve. Click the link in the description down below to join us and take the next step. So what can we do about this? Well, the first is that understand ADHD is not why your partner is leaving. Your ADHD is actually part of you. It always has been. Your partner fell in love with you when you had ADHD, so nothing has changed in that respect. ADHD is a huge part of who we are, and it has lots of pros to it. But the fact is that if you're internally thinking that your partner is leaving because of your ADHD, then that is going to come out when you speak to them. And as that comes out, it's essentially telling your partner that I think so little of you that I think that you're the type of person that would walk away from someone just because they have an ADHD diagnosis. And I want you to put yourself in your partner's shoes and think about that. Think about how that will come out when you speak and when you try to even work on solutions. Everything that you say in your micro expressions is going to come out in a very ineffective way. Coming to conversations without being emotionally ready means that you're going to struggle way more with impulsiveness. Your focus is going to be scattered because internally you're going to be struggling to have proper conversations. So managing emotions within ADHD relationships is something that needs to be done over a long period of time. There is no quick fix to manage your emotions. It is a skill that needs to be developed and learned when handling big situations in ADHD relationships. The third thing that's really crucial is focus on listening and understanding rather than explaining. Regardless of whether you're going through a separation or a divorce or simply going through some challenging times, communication is key. And even during these difficult times, taking the time to listen and understand what your partner is saying, what your partner is feeling, this shows that you're ready to actually humble down and work towards a goal, work towards changing yourself and work towards solutions to problems rather than explaining them away. Communication skills are skills that can be learned. Now, Obviously, that communication is a massively detailed topic and it can't be just covered in a YouTube video, but we do cover communication much, much deeper in the ADHD Blueprint program. But it's really important that these skills are learned and actively worked on. You know, a lot of people think that there are insurmountable obstacles in relationships, but the reality is that, you know, most of the times the problems in relationships come from being unable to communicate about the problems rather than the problems themselves. You know, if your partner wants to speak to you about your ADHD and you get defensive, then your partner will simply learn to not approach you about problems. Avoid discussing the diagnosis until the right time. Mentioning an ADHD diagnosis when there are challenges, when there are difficulties, when there are problems happening around, mentioning that diagnosis can come across as really, really defensive, even if it's well-intentioned. You know, like we mentioned earlier, if you're jumping in with your diagnosis, it feels like it's explaining away the problem rather than finding a solution. If you talk about why the car runs at 10 miles per gallon, it doesn't change anything about the situation. In fact, it makes the situation worse because it shows that you actively know the traits of the car and you're still not figuring out how to work around it. And ultimately, the core thing is making sure that you're figuring out systems together. So once you have taken the time to dig deep and understand the problem, then it's important that you ensure that you're figuring out systems to work around the challenges and come up with things that are effective for both of you as a team. You know, it's never simply about fixing a problem. It's also never simply about talking about a problem. It's a balance of both. So once you've taken the time to go through it together, jumping in with action and next steps helps to show that things are ready to change. You know, the key to turning around ADHD relationship challenges is truly understanding where the core of the problems are. Because during separation or divorce or just big challenges, your partner feels hopeless because you don't even take the time to understand the problems. There's no way that the problem is going to get fixed. So it's important to make sure that you're coming up with good ADHD systems in order to navigate the problems. And there is a lot more to talk about when it comes to good ADHD relationship systems. So let me know if you want more covered in future videos. And if you want more skills, tips, and strategies for working with your ADHD, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. And thank you as always for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.